Welcome to another episode of the Yankee.
And the Hillbilly.
And today, Jay, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people take for granted, especially living in the South. And that's waving. And in the South, you cannot drive anywhere without someone waving to you, whether you know them or not.
This is correct. We got a lot of waivers down here in Hillbillyville.
I mean, even just driving down the road, people in other cars who I have no idea who they are, just give me a friendly little wave.
And I think that is because back a long time ago when North Carolina was primarily an agriculture state and you have hundreds of acres of farmland. And I remember when I was a kid working on my grandfather's farm, you would be on a tractor driving around, and the closest person that lived to me was my grandparents. And they were even like a little over maybe a mile away. So you didn't really come in contact with that many people on a daily basis. So I guess that it was, part of it was you were kind of glad to see somebody, or, so you just give them a friendly wave to say, hey, acknowledge that there's another person on the planet over here. So I think that's part of where it came from. I think that in more crowded areas, cities, that you just don't get that much.
It's true, and I will say this is a very easy habit to pick up, because I find myself waving, not only to the people I know, but someone gives me a wave, I give them a wave back, and and my wife will be like, "Who was that?" And I'll be like, "I have no idea, but I just gave them a wave." But I will tell you, this is dangerous. This put me in danger. I feared for my life.
Okay.
Because, going back up north, to visit my parents. I'm at my parents' house. I have a car riding down the street. I give them a wave.
And what do they want? They want to
stop short in the middle of the road and they're looking. Who is it? Are they going? I don't know. Are they going to come out? Are they going to us? I don't know.
So they actually thought that you wanted them to stop.
Yeah, and and that's not the only time it's but it's a habit, and I can't just be like, oh, I'm up north, I'm gonna stop waving to people. So there's lots of times I give people a wave, and I get the dirtiest looks.
Yeah, well, I think that I don't know why that happens up north, but there are several different classifications of waves. I think when I'm driving and it's an acknowledgement wave, and there's a whole thing about who's waving first, who initiates the wave. Now, a lot of times
the pickup truck usually initiates the wave.
All right, so if I'm driving along and it's pickup truck, the pickup truck, if I recognize the person that's approaching, I will most of the time, if I can be the first person to initiate the wave. And most of the time, if it's somebody that I know, the wave will come as a 3 fingers or 2 fingers up from the steering wheel, accompanied with a head nod, so that it goes something like, the fingers go up and your head kind of goes back like, hey, I know you. You're somebody that I know. Okay? All right. Now, if it's like family, not just a friend, but a family get all into they're riding and they're like waving like that. They really want you to acknowledge that they have seen you. So it's like, I got to wave like that. All right. Then there's that. Then I go with, if I don't really know the person, I just go with the rearing the head back in a which is classified as a wave, I guess, or an acknowledgement. So somebody waves at me, I don't really know them. I'm like, or if I have a hat on, I might tip my hat back up like that. But there's different classifications of waves.
And very true. And I might say the wave down here might have to do with the speed that people drive.
Oh yeah, they historically down in this area of North Carolina, because it was a rural area and a agricultural area, you have a lot of farm machinery on the road. So people travel pretty slow.
But like up north, if I'm driving by and someone I know is outside, or even if they're not outside and I'm passing their house, I'll give them the double honk.
They're real quick.
The toot toot.
Bam, bam.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just let them know. And like different cars are different, so I mean who's passing your house, and I don't know if that's more of the speed of the cars where you're able to get the honk out, but you wouldn't see the wave.
Right.
But
now, when you wave? Going back to classifications of wave, you got if you're outside and somebody drives by, do you give them the real high wave like?
No, I don't get.
Like
I mean,
like they can look at it like a beacon of light, like the Statue of Liberty as they drive by, because they're driving slow.
not quite. I mean, again, it depends.
And if you're driving, do you ever give the out the window and we can't see it? Okay, out the window, like you stick your arm out the window. If you're driving, it would
No,
be with
because
your
I
left
like my
hand.
air conditioning, and most times my window's not open. But if I'm outside working, I just kind of do the half, just hand up. I see you, I acknowledge you, and then I'm going back to and go on to my day.
Right. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever waved at somebody that you didn't know? You initiate the wave, and they kind of give you that real slow wave back, like they're not sure if they should wave at you or not.
Or they don't know
So
who
it's
you
like-
are. They're
yeah,
trying
it's
to
like-
figure it out.
Yeah, they're looking at you. You wave to them, and then they're like, real slow kind of wave.
Now, if there's someone I know, like if I saw you pulling into a parking lot, I might go with the high wave, try and get your attention.
Right.
But usually, if it's just
Now, here's one thing that you got to watch out for is the traffic control wave that can get you in a lot of trouble. It's like always observe the traffic laws. And this happens all the time when I go down to the beach, and specifically one area where there's a lot of traffic and you got a light there and it almost becomes gridlock because, somebody is just...
southern traffic or northern traffic.
It's down at Topsail. It's at Topsail Island, and there, it's all this traffic is trying to get onto the island. So there's a right turn, and it's actually a traffic stop where it's a four-way stop. But then you get to the point where, people are saying coming out of the grocery store and everything, so they're waiting, and then you get somebody that will stop and they'll give you the go ahead, come on out. Well, that's fine if that person is going in the same direction that I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're trying to go all the way across to go the opposite direction, I'll never tell somebody to come out in front of me like that. And I will never, if somebody stops traffic and then says, come across, and to go across, I'm like, it's cool, man, I'll wait until there's a real
I look
opportunity.
at their car. If it's a nice car,
Oh,
I'll trust them.
You're
And
gonna-
if it's not such a nice car, sometimes I'll say, oh no, I'll wait the extra 10 seconds and let you go.
Right. So you make your assessment based on their ability to purchase a vehicle. Because if it's a Mercedes...
Not even purchase, but take care of a vehicle.
If it's
like
Mercedes,
if I
what if it's a dirty Mercedes? If it's it's a nice Mercedes, but it's just dirty. They got a surfboard in the back seat hanging out.
Oh,
the window.
that would be fine. I mean, if they're surfing, that's fine.
Yeah, because we
But
don't
like,
know.
even if it was an old Mercedes with the front end missing,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Probably not a good idea.
you go ahead, because obviously something happened where you got rid of that front end for a reason, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Do you head wave a lot?
Yeah, I do.
feel like,
The head wave in the car. That's a little quick little nod.
And in some ways, I thought about that. That's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to not being prepared to wave back with your hands. Like if you're adjusting the radio and driving at the same time, and then you see something, and they give you a wave, and you just you try to do it real quick to get it in there, because you don't want to seem like a.
Well, that's also easy too. If you're waving at someone you know, and they sneak up on you where you don't notice them, and you catch them waving out of the corner, you just go up with the head real quick.
Right.
trying to get them.
And have you ever got this? Have you ever got the later on in the day or a couple days later you got, hey, I waved at you, and you didn't wave back?
Not really.
That's happened to me before.
You know a lot more people than I do, though.
That's happened to me before. They're like, hey, Jay, I saw you and I waved at you, man, and you didn't wave back.
So is that kind of like an old-fashioned way of like, I posted a picture on Facebook and you didn't like it?
Yeah, that would be an old version of that. But the thing about it is I don't feel like I need to explain to them, you saw me and waved, but obviously I didn't see you. Because
or you could just say, I waved, I guess you didn't see it, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell them, like, look, I was probably deep in thought and did not actually, the wave or your attempt to present yourself to me as we pass at 55 to 60 miles an hour on a highway, I just didn't see it. And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of being in deep thought as I drive along and not really pay attention to people trying to wave at me. But it's not that I don't appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I will wave back if the opportunity presents itself. But don't get all bent out of shape because, somebody doesn't wave back. They probably just didn't see it or they didn't recognize it. And that's something we got to teach our kids too, because I noticed that back several years ago, I didn't think much about, when kids would wave to, from the bus stop and stuff, kids that didn't even know me.
Yeah.
As I'm passing by, they're just standing out there waving. Down at the beach one time, me and my family were walking. There's kids up on a balcony of this house, and they're waving at everybody that comes by, and I'm like, that's not really a good idea. It's especially for kids. But I mean, if you're in a car, it's one thing because you're going by each other, but to wave to somebody from a location where they can come up and then start saying, what you waving at?
But at the same time, I will say, and going back to the cars, not waving at strangers out in public, I will say that kids, and they're not really kids because they're driving now, but the kids who lived in this area of North Carolina their entire lives are more likely to wave from vehicles than other kids who have only been here a couple years.
Yes, this is true. Now, do you do the acknowledgement or thank you wave if somebody like lets you into traffic or they do something cool for you, like
Yeah.
you give them the acknowledgement
Yep.
wave. It really makes me mad if
When
I
you
do
don't.
something for somebody and they don't give me the thank you wave, the acknowledgement wave. I would just appreciate the acknowledgement head nod. You can see them through the back of their car if they would just go like, do something to acknowledge that I did something, kind for you.
So you need someone else's approval to do something kind. You need a reward.
I actually think that there should be either a horn that says thank you when you hit it, thank you, or some sort of lights back there with the blinkers. Maybe they just blink your blinkers Morse code to thank you, something.
Those old smiley face lights.
Yes, something like that. And there should also be, other things that you can do when you disapprove of what somebody does. But until
Does it rhyme with thank you?
Maybe. But until we get that, we're gonna stick with the standard, the waving. So
for all our viewers out there, this is the Yankee.
and the Hillbilly.
Have a great day.
Thanks for watching.